Chapter 1. Africa Unite, the Globe Shift. The world stood still. Every news channel in the world, from CNN in the United States to Al Jazeera in Qatar, BBC in the UK to NHK in Japan, was broadcasting the same shocking image. A live feed from a giant stadium in Nairobi, Kenya. All 54 African presidents were standing together on one stage, wearing the same African fabric, holding each other's hands high in the air. Then the president of Nigeria stepped forward and spoke just 10 words that changed everything. "We are no longer many, we are now one Africa." Suddenly, the African Unity Anthem played. Soldiers from different African countries marched together as one force. A new currency called Afri was announced. And then, without warning, it was revealed that Africa had just signed a single military, economic and political agreement, the United Africa Treaty. In less than 30 minutes, global stock markets crashed. The United States called an emergency meeting. China froze all its African investments. The European Union panicked, while Russia quietly sent envoys to Cairo. The world didn't know what to expect. Would this new united Africa be a friend, or a giant new superpower that would challenge them all? Then something even more shocking happened. Satellites caught footage of thousands of African scientists gathering in Ethiopia. Rumors spread fast. Africa had built a new energy weapon, the type no one had ever seen before. The screen went black. The world was asking one question: what is Africa planning next? But to understand how we got here, we have to go back just a few years ago, when everything was still broken and divided. Not long ago, Africa was like a huge house with many rooms. Each room had its own rules. Some were rich in gold, others full of oil, others had brilliant young people. But no one was talking to each other. In fact, they were even fighting over small things like border lines, languages, and who owned what. Outsiders came in and took what they wanted: diamonds from Congo, cocoa from Ghana, oil from Angola, and paid the people very little. Most African leaders worked only for their own country. Some cared more about power than their people. Many young Africans tried to escape by boat, risking their lives to reach Europe or America. The world laughed at Africa, called it the poor continent. But then something changed. It started with a small girl from Senegal named Aisha. She was only 14 years old, and she gave a powerful speech at the African Youth Conference in Rwanda. She said, "Why do we need visas to visit each other? Why do we trade more with Europe than with each other? Why are we strangers in our own land?" Her speech went viral. It was shared by young people across Africa. For the first time, millions of African youths felt the same dream: to become one. They called it the One Voice movement. Then came the farmers. In Nigeria, maize was rotting in warehouses. In Sudan, people were starving. So the two countries agreed to trade freely. Others followed within a year. 20 countries dropped tariffs between each other. Next came the language problem. Africa had over 2,000 languages. So a group of linguists from Kenya, South Africa, and Egypt created a common language toolkit using artificial intelligence. One device that could translate all African languages instantly. People started calling it the talking stone. Then came the economy. African billionaires like Aliko Dangote, Patrice Motsepe, and Mo Ibrahim joined hands to create the African Investment Shield, a giant fund that only invested in African ideas. From high-speed railways to local smartphone brands, Africa was now building for itself. The turning point came when a deadly flood hit Mozambique. Instead of waiting for foreign aid, African countries responded like one family. Boats from Senegal, engineers from Ghana, and doctors from Egypt rushed in. For the first time, Africa didn't look outward.